Okay, so now we're gonna take a look at how to animate a simple logo animation using a liquid style animation. And for this animation, we're gonna combine Animate and After Effects to make our final product. So here I have my logo. I have my background layer, I have my logo layer, and my text layer separated. So my idea here is that I'm gonna animate these blobs flying around, and they will then come together and create this infinity symbol. So I'm gonna start out by making a new layer, and I'm gonna plot out the movement of my main blobs here. So I'm thinking that they will come in this way. Okay, so here I have my rough arc that I'm gonna use as a reference. So I'm gonna lock this layer and then shift click the eye here to make it semi-transparent, like that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and make a new layer that I'm gonna animate the blobs on. And then I'm gonna keyframe this layer on every other frame, like that. And then I'm gonna grab the color of my logo, like that. Okay, so the idea here is that I'm gonna animate these blobs flying in here, and they will kind of come around, slow down on the corners here, speed up, slow down a bit, speed up, and then come in and form the main shape. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw my first drawing here. Then I'm gonna go to the next frame and turn my onion skinning on. And then I'm gonna keep drawing here following the arc. And I'm gonna keep my timing in mind, so we're going faster here and slower in the corners. And now as I go around this corner here, I'm gonna make the blob become bigger, and that will convey that the blob is coming closer to the camera. And then these little things that come off the blob, I'm gonna make them ease out and kind of disappear. And now I'm gonna draw my drawings closer here to make it so that it slows down. And I'm drawing the front here bigger, so it feels like it's coming towards us. And now I'm gonna make it smaller and space it out a bit more, so it feels like it's speeding up. And I'm gonna keep adding these little smaller blobs coming off the main one. Okay, so now we're coming closer to the logo. I'm gonna go ahead and make the logo semi-transparent by shift-clicking the eye. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use the shape we're drawing here to mask in the logo. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a few more drawings here. Okay, so now I'm gonna start drawing the blob following the shape of the logo. And because we're gonna mask this, I can draw outside of the main shape here. And then I'll show you later how we mask this with the shape of the logo. So I'm gonna draw my first drawing here where it's touching the logo. So now that I'm drawing over here, it doesn't matter if it's going outside the logo. And then I'm just gonna draw my final drawing here where it's fully filled in. Like that. And then I'm gonna go up here and extend this frame so that this final pose is being held. Okay, so now we have something like this. So now we want to mask the final part here with the logo. To do that, I'm going to duplicate the logo and put it on top of my animation layer. And then I'm going to make the logo visible. Now, to use the logo as a mask, I'll right-click on the layer here and go to Mask. This will make the layer under it use this layer as a mask. And then I'm going to hide the logo here. And now we can see that it's masking when the blob is going over the logo. But now, as we can see, we have lost the first part of the blob. So we want to fix that by duplicating this layer and pulling it out and on top. And now if we play it, we're back for it looking like this. Okay, so now we're gonna fix this. And to do that, I'm gonna unlock this layer here and delete these last frames when it's masking in. But I'm gonna leave the frames where it still has a tail. Okay, so let's look at this. So now we still have the issue of the blob being really big here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this tail manually. So I'm gonna delete this layer too. So then it looks like this. So now I'm gonna manually go in here and draw the tail on top here. So now we have something that looks like this. And now on this layer here, I'm gonna go in and just draw in the easing of these blobs. Okay, so this is what we have this far. So now we want to export this and put this in After Effects to add the final parts. An important thing to do before we export our SWIFTs is to go up to File, Publish Settings, and make sure that this button here is deselected. Otherwise, we will see all the layers that we have hidden. Now we can go ahead and export our layers. So what I want to do now is I want to split this up into multiple exports. So I want to export the blob itself, making the logo. I want to export the text and the background. So to do that, I'm going to twirl down this here so we can see it better. I'm going to then start by exporting the background. To do that, I will hide everything in here except the background. I'll then go to File, Export, Movie. And then I'm going to make sure that this is selected as Swift Movie. I'm going to name this layer BG and then save. Now I'm going to do the same for the text. So I'm going to hide the background, show the text, File, Export, Movie, and then text, save. I'm going to hide this and I'm going to make our blob visible. And then I'm going to do the same. File, Export, Movie, and save. And then I'm going to save this project, and now we're going to move over into After Effects.